Great, get there. It'll be 15, 20 minutes, and then this stuff will be moving along. Areas in the all clear, I'll very quickly draw a line because that
This is a tornado warning.
really be picking up. So this line getting into some major metro areas here moving forward. This line coming in pretty quickly, 45 to 55 miles an hour being measured. Before I throw it back over to James, let's get a check on those power outages here in central Alabama. Walker County, big spike here, James. In just the last little while, we went from very minimal outages to 6,500, Fayette County, 2,500, Tuscaloosa County, 3,500, and Jefferson County at about 1,000, but those numbers will likely tick up here as this main line continues to move off to the east.
All right, so again, we're watching the reports coming in through the Skywatcher chat. We're so thankful for our Skywatchers. They help us every day, and especially during times like this. Got a report of a car that has gotten entangled in power lines along Highway 13 near Lynn in Winston County. Large tree down across Highway 5 near Lynn. And again, we've got so many reports of trees down, it's hard to keep up with all of them. But trust me, there's a lot. In fact, if we can, let's go to WEX 05. I want to show some of the images. And again, all of these have come in here in the last 30 minutes or so. And these are in various parts of northwest Alabama in advance of this line of storms. And again, a lot of trees down, at least the power's on at that house. And we got a lot of these things. I mean, that state bird is in flight. I mean, it is flying tonight. Goodness gracious. A lot of people are seeing these and they have no idea where they came from. Looks like this is going to be some video of what the storms look like coming through. And again, this is a common scene. The heaviest rain, the strongest wind seems to take about 10 to 15 minutes as they come through any one given location. And again, it's come on through Tuscaloosa, it's coming through Demopolis now. And again, that's what people can expect. Here's some more video of the line coming through. And again, that wind is absolutely ferocious with this line. In some cases, we think the winds have gusted to over 50 miles an hour. And obviously, when you've got conditions like that, we're going to have trees down, power lines down, and power outages. And this is something where everybody will experience this. I wish I could say that you're not, but if you're in the state of Alabama, at some point you will deal with this. If you've not already, you will later this morning. And again, this is some more video that has come in here. And it looks like that might be going a little sideways there, but again, you get the idea. Same thing, I want to say that's up in Huntsville. Again, this is some of the structural damage. The shoals got hit pretty hard. This is Tuscumbia. And in a few hours, we'll be able to assess that damage, whether it was straight line wind or tornadic. Most likely that was straight line wind. But again, all of these scenes across Alabama earlier this morning. Let's go back to the radar. And again, we want to stress everybody along this line could see winds of 40, maybe 50 miles an hour. The line running from near Huntsville down to now western Blount County, coming in toward Bluntsville and Locust Fork in Blount County, Cleveland in Blount County, Ayana. And then from there, it's now into northern and western Jefferson County. The heavier rain is falling around Mount Olive, approaching Gardendale. In fact, coming into Gardendale right now, coming into Graysville, Adamsville. It's out toward Oak Grove, Rock Creek, Sylvan Springs, McDonald Chapel, Pratt City, Edgewater, Hueytown, Pleasant Grove. And again, that'll be in downtown Birmingham soon. The line continues into eastern Tuscaloosa County. For Tuscaloosa, the risk of severe weather is over. Remember, this is a one-and-done night. Once it passes, you're done. We have a small tornado warning polygon for the extreme southeastern part of Tuscaloosa County down toward Duncanville. This is US 82 right here. And quite frankly, that circulation has moved on to the east. And again, the greatest concern here, it's not these brief spin-up tornadoes. It is from damaging straight-line winds. From there, the line of thunderstorms stretches on down into Hale County. We'll take a look at the southern part of this. You can see it's coming to Greensboro. Again, we have a tornado warning in effect for extreme southern Hale County, and this is for Greensboro and Point South down toward US 80, down toward Sunshine High School, New Bern here. And again, these are very small, brief tornadic circulations. They come and they go. And the question we always have in the weather enterprise is this: do we even try to warn for these things? A warning goes out, they're gone. Warning goes out, they're gone. Whack-a-mole it is. But again, we've got the tornado warning polygon here, and again, you need to be sheltered. You respect the polygon if you're in one. But and again, we have a new polygon just posted here for southern Perry County, and this includes the city of Marion. And again, that's for the circulation that would be down here south of Greensboro, down toward Sunshine High School and New Bern. And if that holds together, that's going to come out across Perry County. So again, we have a tornado warning in effect now for much of Perry County. This includes Marion. Marion is right here. Heiberger is up here. And again, we stress everybody will have damaging straight line winds or potential for that. But we've got a few spots where there could be an isolated tornado, and this is one of them. So again, we have potential for a brief isolated tornado that could come through parts of Perry County, south of Heiberger. This would include the town of Marion. Hamburg is down here. Suttle is right here. And again, just be aware of that if you're watching us in Perry County, south of Heiberger, south of Centerville, south of Brent. So let's go back to the reflectivity, and again, we'll keep working down the line. And this has come on through Demopolis. The worst is ending now for Demopolis. We got our Demopolis sky cam. It'll be an interesting one to see. We could probably point it out toward the parking lot of the Demopolis Civic Center. And most likely, the rain has started to calm down after coming through earlier when it was just absolutely pouring there. Let's see. That's our sky cam at Demopolis. And again, that's historic Bluff Hall, you see, which is adjacent to the Demopolis Civic Center. That's looking southeast from the roof of the Civic Center. The Tom Bigby is kind of behind that camera. But again, the conditions are starting to improve in Demopolis, which is good. Just wanted to show that quickly. So let's go back to our graphics box. And again, this is going to be the southern extent of that line. It's coming through Greensboro. It's come through Demopolis, coming through Linden and Faunsdale. And from there, it goes down into Choctaw County. It's already come through Butler. And again, it's coming down into southern Choctaw County, down toward Toxie, and ultimately into Washington County. We have severe thunderstorm warnings again for the whole length of this line, the whole length of the line blanketed by severe thunderstorm warnings, all the way from Washington up to Madison. And the new warnings are for Shelby and for St. Clair and for Etowah. And again, just understand, everybody in advance of this line, your weather radio will be sounding. You're going to have a severe thunderstorm warning tonight. And again,
This is a tornado warning.
we're going to look right into the teeth of this thing as it comes into downtown Birmingham. So this is our camera that is located in downtown Birmingham. And let's point that thing a little to the right. That's looking due west. Let's go northwest. Up, keep going, keep going. We'll stop it about right there. And again, down below, that's the intersection of Interstate 59, 20, and 65 in downtown Birmingham. Lightning maybe not as impressive as it would be with some other events like this, but Evan, the wind is ferocious.
Yeah, the wind ferocious enough that we've seen a big uptick in these power outages. We're watching a couple things. One is a strong area of rotation near New Bern. That's in southern Hale County. So I'm going to jump down to there quickly here before I go back to the cell that's up near Birmingham. So this is in Hale County. It's going to track across Perry County, and this would include places like Cedarville, Laneville, Sunshine, New Bern. James was just talking about this a few minutes ago, but you know, this has been the one cell really here that is held together with a little bit of tornadic potential. So we'll go to our velocity, and it's tough to see. It's pretty far from the radar, which is another disadvantage in this part of the state when you get south of Greensboro. But right here, we see these bright greens and then the darker so color. So a change in those wind speeds in the atmosphere here. And this is headed right for New Bern and Sunshine here, and then eventually into parts of Perry County. So we're going to watch this closely. I want to get back up, though. This is coming into a very populous area, and I'm trying my best here to follow this chat that we have going on our Facebook live feed here. So coming into the Birmingham Metro, I'm going to go over to the reflectivity here, and you can certainly see this is tremendously heavy rain over near Lakeview. Coming into Hueytown, Bessemer. So if you're familiar, you come in, down I-20, you get past the Mercedes plant, you get down towards Lakeview. There's an exit there that I believe has a Pilot or Love's. So right before you get to the 459 split, that is about where this line is. and it's going to come into place as Hueytown. You're already getting at Birmingham in the next couple of minutes. We've been saying right about 1 o'clock, and that looks like it's going to verify. Fultondale, you're about in it as well. Trussville will be next up. Vestavia, Hoover, all the way down into Pelham, and some major thoroughfares here as well. Not that you'd be, out driving at this time of night, but it certainly is coming through a very populous area here at this point. Looks like we've got lots of lightning in Coleman County. Power outages in Lakeview. Looks like Moundville, a couple questions about being in the clear there. That's always a good thing to sound off on. So in the good nature of trying to be positive for some folks, Moundville, you're in the clear. Coaling, just about in the clear. Adamsville, got a few more minutes here on the lead edge of this, you'll be in the clear. West Jefferson, you're in the clear. Hanceville, in the clear. Holly Pond, in the clear. Out ahead of this, where we're not in the clear, Sneed, Aniana, Springville, Margaret, Trussville, Fultondale, Birmingham, Vestavia, Hoover, Chelsea, Wilsonville, Columbiana, Harpersville, Childersburg, Sylacauga. Talladega County in its entirety has not had a warning yet, but they will be next up. As we mentioned, we're just stacking these warnings downstream as this line continues to move. Some of the heaviest rain, the most intense part of this line here is coming right through Lakeview. I mean, this is an absolutely torrential downpour here. This is going to be north of West Blockton. This is going to be coming into basically a collision of Jefferson County to the north. You got Shelby County here, you got Tuscaloosa County here, and you got Bibb County here. So this is coming right over those areas here, and is on I-20. This will head towards Greenwood. Eventually this will get into northern Shelby County, places like Pelham, as well as Alabaster over the next about 20 minutes or so. We'll do a time of arrival because this is a fairly potent part of the line. I got about 120 for Pelham, for Alabaster, and that'll include us here at the station. A little bit further south, Maylene to that I-65 corridor down near Calera, about 125, 127 here. So a lot of busy places, and we've said this before. If you're just joining us here, this is a big wind event that's also had a tornado threat, but take the winds as serious as a tornado warning. Straight line winds, if you haven't been a part of a system that has damaging straight line winds, can be just as destructive. You take 70-mile-an-hour winds and push them against a structure or against some trees, it'll come down. It doesn't have to be swirling like in a tornadic nature to get that. So we've been kind of stressing that here this evening. If we look back to the south, this is that active tornado warning, and this is really at the fringes of our DMA here, but coming out of the New Bern area, this is about to cross into Perry County and eventually will be near Sugarville, Vaden, and then Marion here within the next little while. And it's had just enough to be suspicious here with this circulation where you see that change in wind velocity aloft, and there could be something weak there, but you also have the threat of winds along with it. So whether there's a tornado down or not, people need to be advised that that's a dangerous system. All of Bibb County is also in a severe thunderstorm warning as this line continuing to close in on Centerville. And this will be moving right through the Centerville-Brent area, that Highway 82 intersection, within the next 5 to 10 minutes. And as I mentioned, you get on over to Montevallo. University of Montevallo is right here. You got Calera right here. And then heading north, you get into Pelham, Alabaster. And then just north of there, of course, you head into southern Jefferson County. You get to Hoover. And this is coming into now just outside the Birmingham Metro here. And this will be crossing right through downtown. Our camera's very quiet as of now. I expect that to change fairly rapidly as we move forward. And then on the northern edge of this line, Aniana, you are now in the thick of it here as this line beginning to come through. Severe thunderstorm warning has been extended out to include Asheville, to include Reese City, Gadsden, Steele. And this is all going to continue off in the easterly direction again, with the biggest threat being the gusty winds. Bluntsville, asking if you're in the clear. If you're back here towards Baileyton, Holly Pond, Hanceville, you're good. Bluntsville, you're right in the middle of it. Sneed, you're still in it. Aniana, Highland Lake, you're in it. And then, of course, Springville hasn't hit yet. Margaret, as well as Moody to the south. That is upcoming within the next 10 to 15 minutes. So the good news, once this line moves through, you're good. You live to the west of this line, which includes Dora, which includes Vance, which includes Demopolis, points to the west. Sure, it's still raining, but it's below severe limits, so we're good. Once this line moves through, as loud as it may be, as dangerous as it may be, that's why we're saying get to your safe place. Treat it like a tornado. It's not going to last long. It's not a multiple round night. It's a one and done, and that'll be just about it here. But certainly coming into some very busy areas right now in the Birmingham metro. Looks like we got a power pole on fire in Cleveland. Jefferson, Shelby, looks like we got some very strong winds coming into areas, big threat of falling trees. We've got some trees down in Bluntsville as well. It looks like that storm down near New Bern, very close to forming a tornado, so they're continuing to watch that down in Perry. That'll be one that we follow, although it will skirt our southernmost extent of the DMA, but is worth watching. This is the part of the line that National Weather Service has been talking about here, is this that's coming out of Lakeview, and you can see those returns there, James. I mean, torrentially heavy rain, and we probably have some very strong gusty winds out ahead of that in places like Hueytown. This is eventually going to be right over McCalla. Hoover, the west side of Hoover there, exit 6, you've got Hoover to the south, you've got Bessemer just to the north, so coming into some very densely populated neighborhoods.
Yeah, so obviously the line is not coming into the Birmingham metro. And again, let's expand this out, Evan. I want to show pretty much the whole state. I want to show the whole line from northeast to southwest. We're getting a lot of people saying, what about? Obviously, we can't call off every town. Everybody in the whole state will be affected by this. Either you have earlier or you will be in the next couple of hours. So understand, it's a situation where we've got to just talk about the whole line. It's different. Case where we've got a tornado situation. This is a damaging wind situation. And yes, time to time we've had isolated brief tornadoes, but quite frankly, the damaging straight line wind with this is more intense than these brief tornadoes. So just please understand, it's a different kind of situation. But if you're in advance of this line, all the way from Scottsboro in Jackson County to Birmingham, down to Greensboro, anywhere off to the east, you're going to be in a severe thunderstorm warning, and you can have damaging straight line winds, enough to knock down trees and power lines. And if you are in a warning, and everybody's in a warning in advance of this line, severe thunderstorm warnings, the advice is to treat it like a tornado warning if you have a lot of trees on your property, because trees can come down very quickly in this type situation with the saturated soil. And that's the greatest concern, is somebody being hurt by a tree falling into a house tonight. And again, we've got those storms coming right into Birmingham. They're coming into Albertville, Guntersville. They're going to be in Gadsden fairly soon. Etowah County under a severe thunderstorm warning. St. Clair, obviously Jefferson and Blount, Shelby County under a severe thunderstorm warning as well. Everybody in advance of the line will be under a severe thunderstorm warning. And we have one tornado warning polygon that's in effect for southern Perry County. This includes the city of Marion, but understand, even down here, before we even focus on one spot, the whole line will have potential for damaging straight line wind and power outages. Quickly, let's go to WEXO 5. Want to show some of the images. We want to thank our sky watchers. This image is coming from Chris Gardner. Chris is in Fayette, and he reports that this is on County Road 23 in Fayette. And this is a situation where you don't want to drive tonight, because understand that you could easily come across a down.
Good morning. This is David Dutton in the Channel 1 America Storm Center here on Stormwatch America. I want to thank you for joining us. It is just after 2 o'clock in the morning on this Sunday morning, and we're just receiving this from the Storm Prediction Center, is considering issuing a tornado watch now for portions of northern and western Georgia. It said the tornado watch would be necessary as this line of very strong thunderstorms, producing in some cases winds in excess of 70 miles per hour in the Birmingham area right now, will continue, along with the threat of embedded tornadoes. So again, the threat of a few tornadoes and 70 mile per hour winds will be moving into northern Georgia and western Georgia here over the next couple of hours. Stay with us for continuing coverage. As soon as we have a new tornado watch issue, we will come back live immediately. I think actually we have our weather alert radio going off. Let's go to that live. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is David Dutton in the Storm Watch America Storm Center. We have an alert going off on our NOAA weather radio locally here in Atlanta. I believe a tornado watch is now being issued for the area. Let's go to that live. Well, we seem to be having some technical difficulties, so let's just bring it to right now. You're seeing that the tornado watch is in effect for northwestern and west central Georgia, all the way down into south central Georgia. Includes all the way down to Americus, Cordele, McRae, Macon, Atlanta, South Fulton, Kennesaw, Dalton, and Calhoun. And this, let's get some details on this tornado watch that will continue until 9 a.m. this morning for the most of the metropolitan Atlanta area, except for areas to the east. Athens, you're not in this tornado watch. In the metro Atlanta area includes Cherokee, DeKalb, Fulton, Newton, Clayton, Douglas, Gilmer, Pickens, Cobb, Fayette, Henry, and Rockdale. In western Georgia, Bartow, Chattooga, Gordon, Paulding, Whitfield, Carroll, Dade, Harrelson, Polk, Catoosa, Floyd, Murray, and Walker. In west central Georgia, Chattahoochee, Heard, Marion, Pike, Stewart, Taylor, Webster, Coweta, Lamar, Meriwether, Sumter, Troup, Harris, Macon, Muskogee, Spalding, Talbot, and Upson. Again, this is a new tornado watch that is in effect until 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and this includes cities such as Atlanta, Americus, Cartersville, Columbus, Conyers, Cordele, Dallas, Decatur, Douglasville, Ellijay, Forsyth, Fort Moore, Fort Valley, Gray, Griffin, Hawkinsville, Jackson, Jeffersonville, Macon, Manchester, Marietta, Montezuma, Monticello, Noonan, Peachtree City, Preston, Richland, Riverdale, Roberta, Rome, Stockbridge, Somerville, Talbotton, Thomaston, Trenton, Vienna, Warner Robins, West Point, Woodstock, and Zebulon. Again, this is a new tornado watch that has just been issued by the Storm Prediction Center until 9 a.m. this Sunday morning. And right now we have a new tornado warning. Looks like it's coming out now for northeastern Alabama. And this is for DeKalb and Marshall counties until 1:45. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was over Bluntsville, moving east at 35. So again, new tornado warning there in the Albertville area of northeastern Alabama. We're continuing with this tornado warning here in the High Top Stevenson area. Most of these storms are now moving from the line from Pisgah to Bridgeport, moving into Shallow here in the next few minutes. I think that is going to be east now of Highway 72 in northeastern Alabama. I'm not liking the way this storm is. This is a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. Take these as tornado warnings and seek shelter in the basement or the center part of your house now. This is for Shelby County, Etowah County, and St. Clair counties until 2 a.m. Central in Alabama. The storm has moved to the east at 50. Expect winds up to 70 miles per hour. Expect considerable tree damage. Damage is likely to mobile homes, roofs, and outbuildings. Gadsden, Alabama, Rainbow City, Pell City, Moody, Springville, and Lincoln, you're in the path of this very dangerous storm. Again, a considerable severe thunderstorm warning with winds up to 70 miles per hour is in effect for the next 47 minutes. This is in eastern Alabama. And if this was to continue, this would move into Cedartown and Bremen over the next hour or so. Let's go to this new severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued by the National Weather Service in Peachtree City. This is for 60-mile-per-hour winds, and this is for Catoosa, Floyd, Whitfield, Walker, Gordon, Dade, and Chattooga counties in northwestern Georgia until 3 a.m. Just a few minutes ago, severe thunderstorms was along the line from Cohen to Hollywood, Alabama to Guntersville, moving east at 65 miles per hour. So with the forward motion of these storms moving to the east at 65, you can expect winds up to 65. This may actually become a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. So what I would do if I was in northwestern Georgia, and particularly in and around the Rome area, you need to seek shelter in a basement or the center part of your house. The entire northwestern area of Georgia, from Fort Oglethorpe, Trenton, Lafayette, Tryon, Summerville, Rome, Lowry, Tunnel Hill, you're all up under a severe thunderstorm warning for winds up to 65 miles per hour. Please seek shelter now in a basement or the center part of your house. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for far northwestern Georgia, from Rome to Fort Oglethorpe. Seek shelter now in a basement or the center part of your house. This could be producing winds up to 65 miles per hour. Very dangerous storm there. We're continuing with tornado warnings in the Stevenson area. And now we have a new tornado warning that is just coming in. And this is going to continue for the next 45 minutes for Marshall, Jackson, and DeKalb counties in northeastern Alabama until 2 a.m. Central. A severe thunderstorm a severe thunderstorm that could be capable of producing a tornado was located near Grant or near Scottsboro, moving to the east at 55. Some of the locations in the path of this possible tornado include sections, Rainsville, Sylvania, and Ider. Again, a possible tornado over Scottsboro, and this storm is moving to the east at 55. So even if you don't get the tornado there along and to the east of Scottsboro, you could see winds at least up to 55 miles per hour. There's the tornado, new tornado warning just coming in there. Let's go over here and take a look at that on the velocity. And we're going to be finding, there's the circulation there near Langston, headed towards sections, Dutton, Powell, Sylvania, Rainsville, and Henniker, maybe Valley Head, and Ider. And if this was continue, this would move into areas around or near Trenton, Chickamauga, and Lafayette within the hour or around 3:20 Eastern Time. Again, this is a tornado warning that is in Alabama to the west of Lafayette, Georgia. Be prepared for possible dangerous weather coming in here shortly. So we have at least 3 tornado warnings now in northeastern Alabama, a severe thunderstorm warning in northwestern Georgia from Fairview down to Rome, a considerable severe thunderstorm warning in the Birmingham area, just east of Birmingham, a tornado warning continues for Perry County in central Alabama, and just severe thunderstorm warnings in southwestern Alabama. It appears that the worst of the storms right now, or more widespread, is in and around the northeastern Alabama area right now, and of course still watching that considerable severe thunderstorm, winds up to 70 west of Atlanta back into Alabama. And that is a large severe thunderstorm warning with that threat in it. So we'll continue to monitor that very closely. As a matter of fact, if we can, let's zoom in into the Birmingham area. We're getting winds of around 60 miles per hour just north of Birmingham, around 62 there in the Kimberly area. So they're at least producing winds of 60 miles per hour. So we'll continue to monitor that very carefully. But again, tornado warnings now just over the state line here in Alabama. If you're just joining us, a new tornado watch has just been issued until 9 a.m. this morning for north and western Georgia and southwest central Georgia, again till 9 a.m., basically the western half of Georgia. We're going to stay with you all night through this life-threatening situation. If a tornado warning or a considerable severe thunderstorm warning, that's winds over 70 miles per hour, is issued for your area, you should seek shelter immediately in the basement or center part of your house. We're going to see if we can go back now to ABC 3340 in the Birmingham area, and we'll be back this moment a tornado warning is issued, especially for Georgia. Stay with us.
This is a tornado warning.
And that may have actually froze there, but we've got that coming into some of the metro area in Gadsden. So if you live on South Side, Hoax Bluff, Old Harmony, Atala, we are looking at this line coming in here, back into St. Clair County and Blount County. In fact, all of Blount County appears to be in the clear. So for those folks who had been asking me about Blount County before I lost ability to communicate with you guys, Blount County appears to be in the clear. We now are bearing down on St. Clair County with this line, including towns of Margaret, Asheville, Ragland, Pell City, Leeds. Birmingham town, as quickly as that entered, we're about to say Birmingham's in the all clear. Same with Vestavia for Hoover. This line is moving very quickly. One of the blessings with this is the quick movement means it's out of here quickly. It's a one and done. This rain behind here, you know, people will see these yellow returns up in Jasper and Haleyville, and you'll think, oh no, here's some more. No, this is what we call stratiform rain. So this forms on the back side of the line. If you are along and to the east of this line I'm about to draw, you still need to have your heads up. Back here to the west, in many of our West Alabama counties, we are in the clear, James.
That's
so
good,
we're seeing some good things.
So let's take WEXO 5, and again, we are, I do have lights here. We're on the emergency generator here at the TV station. If we can, maybe we don't have WEXO 5. If we have that, I've got some more images to take. In fact, I'm sorry, that is totally my fault. We had to go on a backup internet. You have to have a backup to the backup here when you're doing what we do. So now I think you can see WEXO 5, and there we go. Again, this is a common scene across Alabama tonight. dozens and dozens of photographs just like this of power lines and trees down across roads with this line. And again, these are some very common scenes. Again, there's a pretty large tree that's come down, and goodness gracious, they're fortunate that went down on the street and not onto that house. We have had reports of homes being hit by falling trees tonight. And again, that's a really common sight tonight. This is why we certainly advise you don't drive tonight, because understand a lot of trees have come down on roads and you don't know what's around the bend, and it's so dark, there's so many power outages, you come around the bend and you might wind up with something like that. This is some structural damage, and again, most of the structural damage reports I've seen so far, they have come in from the shoals up in northwest Alabama. There's a chance that possibly a small tornado touched down into Tuscumbia. That's a pretty good-looking grill that went down right there, and again, that's a sign of how strong the winds are tonight. And I cannot tell you how many state bird pictures, a bunch of them. Those things are clear light, and again, and of course, the storms have ended there. The one good thing about this, it is a one and done situation. Once you have had the line, it rains heavily for about 15 minutes, and then you are basically done with it. Let's go right back to the radar here. We'll kind of keep it on me for a minute with the lights over here. It's 125, and let's just give, like I say, Evans has talked about this, but Birmingham, north and west, severe weather threat is over. You're done. Go to sleep, relax, whatever you want to do, have a party. It's over. You've still got rain falling here, but again, the severe threat is now south and east of Birmingham. And let's go up here in northeast Alabama. We'll start with these tornado warnings in effect. And again, we have 3 different polygons up here for northeast Alabama. We'll pop on the high top Weather Service radar. And we have tornado warning polygons for the far northern part of Jackson County. This is for areas north of Scottsboro. Scottsboro is the county seat of County, which is right here. This includes Stevenson, and again, you can see up toward really Chattanooga, Tennessee. So this area right here has prompted a tornado warning in effect for DeKalb County. Now, this Fort Payne is under a separate warning. We have multiple. But again, this is for the northern part of DeKalb County. This includes Henniger, Ider, Sylvania. And again, you've got that possible tornadic circulation here. Section is a beautiful town sitting up high overlooking the Tennessee River. And again, broad, it might not be the tightest circulation we've seen. But regret the Weather Service in Huntsville posting a tornado warning in effect for northern DeKalb County for that circulation. Another circulation near Geraldine, and for that the Weather Service has posted a tornado warning in effect now for the central and southern part of DeKalb County, and this includes the city of Fort Payne. Fort Payne is here, Valley Head is here. Pretty much the whole county. DeKalb County is under a tornado warning for these 2 different circulations. one here, and possibly a third one right here near Crossville. Interstate 59 is located right here. This is Collinsville. Crossville is right here. Fort Payne is right here. So, but remember, everybody's going to deal with a chance of damaging winds tonight, not necessarily a tornado, but straight line winds. So let's pop back on the reflectivity, and we'll just kind of go down the line. There's the line stretching from Stevenson right down through Fife and Crossville. The line approaching Gadsden. It's about to come into Gadsden. We'll check the camera there in just a moment. But again, in Gadsden, you're about to see a lot of heavy rain for about 15 minutes and strong winds that might gust up to 40, 50 miles an hour. The line stretches down Highway 411, down to Steele and Asheville and St. Clair County. Down to the south, it goes right down Interstate 59 down to Leeds at the point where Jefferson, Shelby, and St. Clair counties all come together. The line is coming down through places like Chelsea and Westover in Shelby County, right on top of the Shelby County Airport. That's where the radar is located. From there, the line extends down into parts of Bibb County, especially south and east of Centerville. From there, the line extends down into parts of Hale County, and again, in Perry County, I should say, not Hale, but Perry. And again, we have a tornado warning effect for the far eastern part of Perry County. For Marion, the danger is over. If you're in Marion, you're done. No more severe weather, no more tornado warning. Warning is in effect, and again, this is for areas south of Heiberger. Heiberger is here along Highway 5. And again, if this thing happens to hold together, the Weather Service might consider a tornado warning over here for either Autauga, northern Dallas, or Chilton counties. You got Dallas County here, Autauga County here, Chilton County here. And again, that possible tornadic circulation near the town of Perryville, which is to the east of Marion in Perry County. And again, that will keep on moving to the east they handle that. This is Alabama Highway 22 right here that runs from Maplesville, Stanton, Ryderville, right down to Selma. And again, we're watching that circulation here. So just be aware there's a tornado warning in effect for the southeastern part of Perry County. Let's pop the reflectivity back on. We'll keep going down the line. And again, you can see the line of storms continues down to a point along Alabama Highway 22 and US 80. This is US 80 right here. That's Alabama Highway 22 right here. The storm's coming into Orrville, and from there they extend on down to Catherine and Wilcox County, and then down to near Thomasville in northern Clark County. So that is a long description of this line, and understand it. I could sit here for hours and call out town names. I can't call them all out, but if you're in the path of this, you need to consider being in a safe place as if this were a tornado warning. Small room, lowest floor, near the center, no windows, helmet. Because of the nature of the falling trees, especially if you have trees on your property that might be coming down. It's a course of regret. And consider too, people cannot find their house on a map. And we're not blaming you. It's a function of technology. Now with these phones, you have turn-by-turn directions, and you simply don't need map skill anymore. But for an event like this, for any severe weather event, we have to use maps. We have no choice. And just by able to identify your location, your house on a map like this, it's huge. That will help you and help us in a big way. So we are now at 1:30. On early Sunday morning, we have a line of severe storms in areas east and south of Birmingham, stretching all the way from near Scottsboro and Jackson County down to Thomasville and Clark County. The whole line blanketed by severe thunderstorm warnings, which means that winds should peak at 58 miles per hour or higher in spots. That's the severe criteria, 58 miles per hour or higher. Within the line, we have a couple of spots with tornado warnings up here in parts of Jackson, DeKalb counties in northeast Alabama, and a small part of Perry County to the east of Marion. But again, all these other warnings, these are severe thunderstorm warnings that are currently in effect. So if we can, I want to look at our Gadsden camera, and I think sometimes it's good for you to see what this looks like. If you've not experienced the line yet, this is the camera, and it looks like it's frozen right now, which means the power might be out. On a night like tonight, we have a lot of power outages. The camera is at the municipal complex in Gadsden overlooking the Coosa. Down below, that's Highway 411, Albert Raines Boulevard, and it looks like the camera there is totally frozen. So apparently the power could be out at that spot. So again, we'll go back to the radar, and again, this storm, for those of you in places like Gadsden, it's coming in right now. You've got the high wind. Anniston should be there in about 30 minutes or so. You're about 30 minutes away. Pelt City, you're about 10 minutes away. Sylacauga, you're about 30 minutes away. Again, the storms will come through all of these places. Okay, I-459 is actually not in Gadsden. I-459 is in Birmingham, so that's a Birmingham shot. That's just some light rain we have there. So again, the storms extend down into Shelby County. And again, the storm should be down in Clanton in about 30 to 45 minutes. Storms coming into Maplesville in Chilton County, and all up and down this line. Expect strong, straight line winds. Evan, how's your internet situation over there?
I'm back online here.
Okay, good, because you might check the reports for us.
Yeah,
we can't take Evan's camera because, again, we're on generator power here. And somehow they got me. I'm the guy that needs to be. I look better in the dark. I mean, Evan's a good-looking guy. I mean, but let's take the graphics full screen. We'll get the latest updates from Evan.
All right, maybe next break I'll get my lamp. I brought a handy-dandy lamp to the office. But yeah, here in the dark, I got some damage reports for you guys. I want to start just recently here, River Chase Parkway, which is right outside of our station. We got some trees down. We also were starting to see reports back in Hale County for that cell that was tornado warned. It appears where that tornado rotation came through, there are some damage reports there, and we have the emergency management on the way. Tree down in the Palmerdale area, and that's a couple of the recent ones I've got here. We also have some trees down in Adamsville on a power line. Multiple reports of trees down on roadways in Adamsville and Concord here at this point. Also have some more from a little bit further back in this event here. Trees and power lines down along County Road 87. This is in Fayette County. A tree blown on a house in 11th Street in Fayette. Siding was blown off of a house as well in Fayette County. A tree blown onto a residence with people trapped. Unknown if there's any injuries. As we get into Lamar County, it looks like a tree fell on County Road 10 near Millport. in Marion County, trees down in the Bear area, and in Sumter County, also some power lines down. So we've had some reports of damage, and again, because it's late, because it's at night, it may take some time to get these reports in. Okay, I want to do what I like to as far as time it out, and let's go section by section and time this out. We'll talk about who in each section is in the clear and who needs a heads up. So let's start down in southern Bibb County, heading into Chilton County. This has been a part of the line that we've watched. Maplesville, you're in it right now, okay? So from Maplesville over to just south of Clanton here, that'll be about 203. Right here at the edge of Bibb County, the Bibb County, Chilton County line, over towards, say, Thorsby, Jemison, then I-65, about 145 to 150, okay? I'm going to slide this to the north. If you're in Centerville, you're clear. If you're in West Blockton, you're clear. 6 Mile, you're clear. Alabaster, you are now in the clear. Montevallo, it's still raining pretty hard there, but the severe threat up there appears to be coming to an end as you are on the western side of that line. So from Ocampo over to Blue Springs near Lay Lake, about 1:55 to 2 o'clock. I'm going to move this even further to the north here. We'll talk about a couple more areas that are in the clear. Pelham, Helena, Hoover, Bessemer, Birmingham, Chelsea. Now about to be in the clear. Columbiana, no, you are about to be in the midst of it here on the lead edge of this line. Wilsonville, you as well. That's coming in within the next 5 minutes. Harpersville, it's upon you now. Childersburg, it's about to be upon you here. I'm going to clear this out. Let's get the latest on Sylacauga. And this line will be crossing over that 231-280 corridor by about 2 o'clock. So areas just north of Sylacauga, including Sycamore, just after 2 a.m. As we get further north here into Talladega County, now it's looking a little bit more broken. You start to see that these returns aren't great. You see how the lead edge of this line is not nearly as sharp as it was. This may be a downward trend. We're getting into the part of the state now, which is interesting, where we were in the 50s at about 5 o'clock this evening. So we may start to see a bit of a precipitous downward trend in strength with this line. Areas near Pell City, that line will be over in Mumford at about 2:08. Talladega, you're coming up at about 2 a.m. You're going to be involved with this line. I'm going to keep going even further north. Springville, Margaret, Moody, Trussville, Leeds, Dunavant, Aniana, all in the clear. Asheville, you're about to be in the clear. Stale, you appear to be in the clear there as well. Raglan, you're about in the thick of things. As we head on over to Anniston, Oxford, you're looking at an arrival time there just after 2 a.m. Chiaja Acres, about 2:05 to 2:10. Weaver, about 2:05 to 2:10. Jacksonville, including the university there, about 10 after 2 o'clock. Gadsden, it's on top of you right now. And this line continues all the way up towards Fort Payne. We do have some viewers in Collinsville that have asked me about that. There is a tornado warning still in place for DeKalb County, including the Collinsville area. This is Highway 11, where it follows I-459. Let me draw that for you in case you cannot see it here on this map. So here's Collinsville right here. And this runs right up towards Fort Payne and then up towards Valley Head, and then you get up towards the Georgia state line here. This initially was a warn for a tornado. I'm going to switch on over to the high top site. We'll see if there's any sign of velocity. And again, not too impressive there as far as the signature. You don't really have much of a notch here. It's just south of Hughes Mill. This is just to the south and west of Fort Payne, and this is moving off to the north and east towards Alpine and eventually near Valley Head if this holds together. And the warnings continue up into Tennessee and the extreme northeastern Alabama. So that's a look at the end of the big picture here. And all of these areas, the entire county of Cherokee is under a severe thunderstorm warning. All of Calhoun County under a severe thunderstorm warning until 2:30. Eventually Cleburne County, Clay County, you will be under a severe thunderstorm warning as this line continues to progress off to the east here. And again, this off to the north, Raglan, Pell City, Jacksonville, the line doesn't look that great anymore. You can certainly see a difference in the structure of this line as you look down towards Jemison and Calera as for the strength of it. And most of the damage reports we have seen here in the short term have come out of the Hoover area. Now we're seeing reports of power lines down Stony Brook in West Fultondale. And we are beginning to support the trees down in the Belleville area, Highway 15 in Cleveland. 2288 Skyline Drive in Warrior. All these areas are in northern Jefferson or in Blount County. We also have some trees down on Old Montgomery Highway. That is not too far from here. And some trees down on a house. No injuries. That's great to hear. South Shades Crest near Chapel Lane, Hoover Bluff Park. Very familiar with that area. Tons of trees right there on the side of Shades Mountain. We have some trees down there as well. So this will continue to be something to watch. And with that in mind, I want to go really quickly here to our watches map, because they're starting to clear folks from the tornado watch, which is always a fun thing to talk about. And that is absolutely what we're seeing here. Is we are cleared of the watch in Walker, Cullman, Marion, Winston, Fayette, Lamar, Pickens, Greene, Hale, Marengo, and Sumter counties, all free of that tornado watch. Great to see there. We are still in the thick of it here along and just to the east of I-65 as you head on down into central Shelby County. And some of these power outage numbers are probably on the rise here now that this has moved through. I know we fell victim to it here. We're on the south side of Hoover. And it appears we've got some winds, getting a ham radio report of 50-mile-an-hour winds in Leeds. So that would put, let's see here, the edge of this line, that is right back here. So this probably just happened at that intersection of I-20 and Highway 78 there.
Let's go to some new images, Evan, real quick. WEX 05. And again, we're working on kind of a backup system here, but they're rolling in, and look at that. This is why you don't want to be in a car in a severe thunderstorm. To my knowledge, nobody was in that vehicle, and this is why we're asking people to treat severe thunderstorm warnings like a tornado warning early this morning. If you have trees on your property, you want to be in a small bathroom, closet, hallway, lowest floor, near the center. And again, we've got this in many, many places across Alabama tonight, trees down on roads. The line has taken down a lot of trees. And again, with so much power out, it's so dark you can't see those trees until you come right up on it. And again, it's just a very, very rough night. Again, we're seeing a lot of video like this as the storms are coming through. If you have power and if you have no damage, you're very blessed. I'll put it that way. Here's some more video, and again, you can see those eddies whipping through that parking lot. We probably have winds in some spots gusting to 40, 50, maybe in some cases 60 miles per hour. And with the saturated soil conditions, it doesn't take a lot to bring down the trees. We had some folks had 4, 5, 6 inches of rain earlier this week, and pretty muddy and pretty soggy. And again, trees come down a lot easier. But again, that's what folks have been dealing with within that line. It takes about 15 minutes for the line to come through. So understand, if it's really, really rough where you are now, it will calm down within 10 to 15 minutes. And goodness gracious, we're seeing these all over the place. The old state bird, it is flying tonight. And listen, it's a running gag here, but it's not funny if one damages your property or causes somebody to get hurt here. But those things have really been flying around the state tonight. And again, this is a very common scene. We have a lot of power lines down across roads, and obviously a lot of these lines are probably still hot. And if you get your car involved in that, you just don't want to. That's all kind of trouble there. So this is just to see what it looks like across the state tonight where the storms have come through. So let's kind of reset here. It's 1:42. We'll go back to the radar behind me, and we're watching the line of severe storms now pushing into the eastern part of Alabama. Evan is suggesting the line coming into Anniston about 2 o'clock. Right now it's 1:42, so about 18 to 25 minutes away, 2:08. The storms, of course, have come on through Gadsden. They're going to be coming through Jacksonville at about the same time. There's the line itself. And let's check the northern extent up here real quick, these tornado warnings. Evan, let's go to High Top, and we'll take a look at the 2 tornado warning polygons. These are both in effect for parts of DeKalb County in northeast Alabama. We have the northernmost polygon. This includes Mentone, Valley Head, and Ider. And again, you can see that circulation right there that's near Interstate 59. That'll be coming up top of Lookout Mountain. Valley Head is in the valley. Mentone is up here on top of the mountain here, so that tornadic circulation really close to Mentone. But again, everybody, the whole line, you need to be sheltered, really and truly. But again, with a tornado warning, that just enhances the urgency of being sheltered. And again, this is for this circulation that's approaching Valley Head, Mentone, Lookout Mountain. The southern circulation is really, really broad down here. This thing is broadened out. It's come on through Fort Payne, and that'll be moving into Georgia fairly soon. And really, both of these are fairly broad, but again, there's evidence of some circulation right here just to the south of Fort Payne. And again, I've talked about this a lot. It's a debate in the weather enterprise. What do you do with these QLCS tornadoes? And QLCS is quasi-linear convective system, a squall line. Typically, with these things, they're down for a few minutes and they're gone. Do you even try to warn for them? Because when a warning goes out, by the time it's distributed, disseminated, the tornado is gone. I'm not so sure we're that good, but clearly on a night like tonight, we're asking people to treat severe thunderstorm warnings like tornado warnings. But having said that, we've still got those tornado warning polygons for DeKalb County and Northeast Alabama. While we're looking at the view here, let's pop the reflectivity back on, and let's kind of give an all clear. Downtown Fort Payne, you're good. Fort Payne and points off to the west, you're good. Geraldine, Fife, Rainsville, the worst is over. Again, we're one and done. One and done tonight. When this thing passes, you're good. It's going to rain on you, sure, but in terms of the severe threat. So the storms are coming into Weiss Lake here. This is Center. This is Leesburg. This is Weiss Lakes, Cedar Bluff, and Galesville. And obviously, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Cherokee. Every severe thunderstorm warning in advance of this. And again, for those of you around Weiss Lake, you can expect winds of 40, 50 miles an hour, enough to cause tree and power line damage. So let's keep working our way down to the south. Now for the city of Gadsden, downtown Gadsden, you're good. The worst is now east of you. It's down toward Glencoe and Hoax Bluff. That's where the strong winds are coming now. They'll be coming into northern Calhoun soon. It'll be down here toward Alexandria, Angel, Jacksonville, Pleasant Valley, the school here, Roy Webb Road, all these places. You're going to deal with it in the next 15 minutes or so. From there, right here, this is Lake Neely Henry. The storm right down the Coosa River. They're about to come into Lincoln and Talladega. Those are towns right in the path of this thing next. Storms right on top of Pell City. It's a rough ride. If you're in Pell City, it's not a pleasant moment here. You got those really strong winds and heavy rain. The storms extend on down to the south, right on top of Logan Martin Lake, which is right here. From there, the storms are down in Shelby County, affecting Harpersville, Wilsonville, Columbiana, Calera, and then into Chilton County, affecting the northern part of Chilton County, Jemison and Thorsby. They're going to be in downtown Clanton in about 5 minutes, that line of storms. From there, storms continue down into southwest Chilton County, toward Maplesville, Stanton, Ryderville. Then right down Highway 22 to Selma. Line of storms right on top of Selma right now. From there, right down to Old Cahaba. That used to be the Alabama state capital right there a long time ago, but they had to move it because of constant floods. That's where the Cahaba runs into the Alabama River. And from there, it runs on down into Wilcox County, down around Camden. So again, that's the length of the storm here. And again, within this, inevitably, we've got some damage, obviously. And again, we've had structural damage tonight, especially up in the shoals. It looks like out of all the reports I've seen, it could be some of the most significant damage is up around Tuscumbia. Again, it might have been a small tornado. And again, the hard part about this tomorrow morning at the first light of day, it's sorting out the damage, what was caused by straight line winds, what was caused by a brief tornado. For most all the tree damage and the structural damage is going to be straight line winds, but there could be an isolated tornado in here somewhere. So that's the situation. And again, the good news, I've not seen any injuries tonight, which is good. I think
198. Amos Mill is the general area. And if you're familiar with Dade County, this is going to be just south of 59.
This is a tornado warning.
Of that, once you get down towards Head River, that's where you're getting into the Walker County area, and that's where you're going to be running into State Route 157, West Cove Road, South Cedar Lane, and the Cedar Grove area, just generally speaking. Zooming out and taking a look further down the road and further south, I want to point out that we have several little notches in here that we are tracking. And those have the potential to produce tornadoes here through the morning hours. So while we're tracking this and have an active tornado warning in Dade and Walker counties right now, we are also watching Chattooga County and northern Floyd County, Gordon and Whitfield counties very closely for any, like that's catching my eye right there, any kinks in these lines that could potentially produce a spin-up tornado. And I really want to emphasize with this morning's event that what we're looking at more than anything is quick spin ups, and that should be it. This is a part of a faster moving line of storms that's going to blow through all of North Georgia here over the course of the next couple of hours. And as it does so, it's going to have that opportunity to produce spin up tornadoes, but also a damaging wind risk up to about 70 miles an hour. Now, if you're watching this morning from Metro Atlanta, really the eastern side of the state is under a tornado, or excuse me, the western side of the state is under a tornado watch until 9 a.m. This is from Dade and Walker counties, where we have that active tornado warning right now, through Gilmer County down to Cherokee, Cobb, and Fulton, included in this tornado watch until 9 a.m. and then out towards Rockdale, Newton, and Jasper counties and points southward. So if you're in this red shaded area, I don't think the threat is really going to be around until 9 o'clock. It's more a fact that they pull it out as long as it can go and then trim it back. But for the moment, obviously we're watching this, but our attention is up towards the north and to the west with Dade and Walker counties with this active tornado warning. I gave you some street names. Get into more specifics on the storm here. And really what I want to do is play this back over the last 30 minutes. And what you're going to see is this rotation tracking right there. There it goes. And you can at least at this moment, watch it in this loop right here. The reds and greens are not as bright. They're not as close together, which could be a good sign. But I also caution we're dealing with some terrain in this parts of northeastern Alabama and northwest Georgia. So even though we've got a radar right there in Huntsville, it's not necessarily the clearest view of this storm. But nonetheless, we have this tornado warning in place until 3:30. So for another 40 minutes, we'll see how long that actually goes. But this storm's moving quickly at 65. And what I want to do now is put a track on this and play this all the way out. And what we're going to do is track this through really the Catoosa County and Dalton areas. And so because it's moving quickly, you have to zoom it out a bit. And I tell you what, I'm going to track more broadly this part of the storm at 65. And here's what we're looking at. So Cedar Grove in the next 9 minutes, Harrisburg, 9 minutes, Cedar Grove now 8 minutes, Lafayette. All right, so if you're watching from Lafayette and central Walker County right now, this is going to be in the next 16 minutes, and then towards Trickham in the next 28 minutes. And as I was mentioning earlier, right, we've got more notches down to south that we're watching closely here through the morning hour. That extends back down into the Birmingham area and even down into big picture here. We're going to continue to watch the more general. Right, if you're watching from Atlanta, we've been talking about northwest Georgia up there, but this extends now back into Birmingham and Montgomery. You've got a solid line of severe thunderstorm warnings across the state of Alabama, and that's why our tornado watch goes for so long. It's because it's going to take until 9 o'clock for this system to move through all of North Georgia, and of course embedded within that we've seen these spin-up tornadoes like the possibility we're looking at now in northwest Georgia. So this tornado warning continues for Dade and Walker counties. This is where we need you to head to your tornado safe place, and I'm going to bring this up probably a couple of times this morning, even if you're not necessarily impacted by the exact storm that we're tracking at. Now is a good time to remind yourself of where to go in a tornado. So for us, this is going to be the lowest level, most interior room away from doors and windows. And for many of us, that would be a basement. So if you're in central Walker County and you have a basement, that's where you need to go now. As I was mentioning, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, right? If you're in this room, well, you've got 2 exterior walls right there. Usually a bathroom is a good place to go, but you want as many walls between you and the grass as possible, and that's what you need to be doing right now in central Dade County and, in southern Dade County and central Walker County, the way we see it at the moment with this active tornado warning. So file that away, even if you're not in these areas, right? Something to keep in mind here through the morning hours with the threat of tornadoes, but also with the threat of 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts with this line of storms moving through at this moment. So here's what we've got going on. Let's see if we can get another check of the radar sweep here. And again, not as well defined, but where the circulation was is now coming across the state line. So we were talking about roads, specifically State Route 157, vicinity of State Route 157 in Walker County. Also, that's going to be County Highway, it looks like 90, County Highway 92, County Highway 198, and this part of Dade County. This is where we need you in your tornado safe place right now. Looking down the road up into Lafayette and into Walker County, This is going to be State Route 193 as you look towards Andrews Lane. Pocket Road, Chamberlain Road is right here, Blue Hole Road, Valley Head, Davis Crossroads. That's the general area we're talking about. So if you're hearing these roads, you know they're close to you. Now is that time to be headed to your tornado safe place. There's Fairview Heights, and then this is going to be State Route 1 as it moves up towards the north. Up towards the Tennessee state line. Now, it is worth noting if you're watching from Chattooga County, right, you're not included in this warning, but it does come right up to the Chattooga County line. Also, if you are in parts of southeastern Walker County, you're not included in this. It's really between Lafayette, including Lafayette, and up towards Chickamauga, stops just short of Lookout Mountain and Fort Oglethorpe there on the Catoosa-Walker County line. So Chickamauga to Lafayette and then points westward is where you need to be in your tornado safe place at this moment. Let's zoom out, see if we have any new scans. We do not, but again, we're looking further down the line. If you're watching from Chattooga County and Floyd County, that little notch right there is not a great look to me, but at least at the moment, I'm not seeing anything that's jumping out to me in parts of Dade and Walker counties as we speak. Now, this tornado warning, as I mentioned, going until 3:30 this morning, so it's technically for another 30 minutes. However, we would be looking at the possibility of it outrunning the warning box if this track really stays on its course here across parts of northwestern Georgia. So let's see. I'm more curious, actually, about what's going on right here. That would be back into Jackson County, Alabama, or excuse me, Cherokee County, Alabama. We have a lot of repeat names in Alabama that we have in Georgia, so that's Alabama, not Cherokee County, Georgia. I'm going to put a track on this now at 65 because I don't love the look of it. So if you're in Coosa, just a heads.
But I wanted to sort of explain what was happening as these storms come out of Alabama and into northwest Georgia.
Right, and sometimes even what happens is that, as you showed, how quickly the evolution of this entire rotation can quickly fall apart, but just as quickly as it falls apart, it can also come back together. So sometimes we have these before we can get a full hold on them. So as this line is coming through, you and your family, it's best that you try to stay away from doors and windows, kind of get to that interior room just in case, because regardless, this is going to pack a punch, tornado or not, but sometimes those tornadoes can kind of happen without warning. We've seen that happen before in situations like this. So what Rodney's doing now is bringing you down to street level here so we can just kind of give you an idea of where this is moving in your neighborhood. Rocky Lane, looks like all along Rocky Lane in the Bronco area, even going further, we're talking Pleasure Parkway, Baylock Mill. I see Shimbone Valley Road that also is within the realm of possibility of this gusty wind and maybe this potential tornado. As Rodney mentioned, the rotation on this not necessarily looking very impressive within this line of storms, but we'll be watching for just these little notches here to try to redevelop and get their act back together. The one thing is, not only is our atmosphere a little more stable because we had the wedge. Did you notice yesterday it was dreary, it was drizzly, it was cool, it was damp? Well, that is still trying to hold on here in our forecast, and what that does is promote stability. So even though our wind shear is high, that change in wind direction and speed with height, we don't have any kind of fuel for these to really grasp onto to stay quite as volatile as they were back out in Alabama throughout the overnight hours. So that's something we'll be watching. We also do have a dense fog advisory for a lot of the area this morning. So that is also going to help prohibit any kind of really volatile activity from moving in. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to deal with severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings as we've seen here in Dade and Walker County. And it does look like they just started to shave off this tornado warning here that was potentially headed towards Chattooga County near Somerville here. So as we go through the morning, what we're going to be watching is essentially this line of storms that could, between scans, maybe even produce the potential for a tornado, but nonetheless, very heavy rain. And Rodney, if we could actually track the entire line here and just kind of give everyone out ahead of this line some early lead time here to let them know when maybe some heavy rain, gusty wind, and maybe that spin up tornado could could potentially move their way, because this line is extending really across the entirety of the state. And as it moves through, it's going to pack a punch. So while right now we're really focused on Northwest Georgia because it is there for you, this is definitely going to impact parts of Metro within the next couple of hours. So let's get you prepared for that right now. If you live in Adairsville around 3:03, so it's 2:58, that's within the next few minutes. Fruithurst around 2:05, that has to be back out in Alabama because that time is actually an hour backwards. But if you live in Carter's Lake around 3:09, Taylorsville around 3:10, that's when this is going to be headed your way. So this will be moving into parts of, it looks like, maybe Carroll County, and then also into parts of Gordon and Pickens County within the next about half hour or so. So we are going to be watching this very carefully for you. No active tornado warnings for our particular viewing area, but because we did see that warning in far northwest Georgia and then potentially another that looks like it's starting to shave off as it does move into parts of Chattooga County right now. If you live in Chattooga County, you're getting very heavy rain, but we have to watch this line very carefully to see if any kind of rotation. And you could see, Rodney, the National Weather Service did actually downgrade this tornado warning as it moved over the Alabama-Georgia line here into Floyd and Chattooga counties. They actually downgraded that to a severe thunderstorm warning. But it is of note that they have been issuing these severe thunderstorm warnings with the wording of tornado possible. Right. Rodney's now taking you to this tornado warning that is currently in parts of Dade and Walker County. Again, this is north of Chattooga and Floyd County. So if you're watching us in places like Somerville this morning, or you're watching us in places like Rome, the warning is not impacting you, but you are experiencing very heavy rain and some gusty wind as this line of storms is moving through. But the Lafayette area, Dogwood Circle, Fairview Heights, Pleasure Parkway, Horse Lake Estates, Blaylock Mill, you are currently within this track of where a potential tornado could be moving. So if you live in this area, if you are watching us in this area, then it is time to move into that interior room away from doors and windows. That is the safest place you and your family will be in these kinds of situations. But Rodney, I just saw, and I know you're going back to see the evolution of this rotation here. I'm starting to see maybe a little bit right here, but that's very, very broad.
Yeah. It is broad, and that's going to be the scenario with all of these warnings. So whenever we do our coverage, which is sometimes these warnings are easy to see, and sometimes they're not so easy. As I mentioned before, this is sort of the environment that we're in, where these are what we call sort of quick spin-ups, and sometimes they can be hard to detect. But Courtney, you mentioned this earlier as well. There was a frame where we weren't really seeing as much red, but you talked about earlier how that could return. And that's what's happening here. So I'm going to track this again toward the north and east at about, this is 60, 65 miles per hour. Dalton, 330, this is headed your way. Lafayette, you're on deck like right now though. So you definitely want to get indoors. You're already indoors clearly, but you want to be on the lowest possible floor of your home. Try to stay away from windows if you can. The innermost part of your house, the idea is to avoid windows if glass were to break, and to protect your head with a pillow, even like a mattress, anything that's flying around. Again, we don't have a confirmed tornado, but it's possible that one could be developing in parts of Walker County now, really more than anywhere else, as this particular storm moves toward the northeast at about 60 miles per hour. Courtney, I also want to point out, outside of this tornado warning, we also have this yellow box that you see, everybody. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings that are also in effect. And these warnings are likely going to be in effect, a severe thunderstorm warning, for most of this line as it moves into Metro Atlanta. So even if you're not under a tornado threat, this yellow box that you see that includes Floyd County, where Rome is, Bartow County, Gordon County, Murray County, Whitfield County, and even far south as Polk County, these are all severe thunderstorm warnings specifically for wind. So everybody will see wind as this activity moves toward Metro Atlanta. The tornado threat won't exist for everybody. That's what we're tracking for you in real time. But just plan on gusty winds of at least 40, 50 miles per hour as this line moves in, if not more than 60 miles per hour. And we are expecting, Courtney, that line to move into Metro Atlanta between 4 and 5 a.m.
Right. And so let's take you through what's going on right now, kind of a big picture here before we go back and zoom in. We have this line of showers and thunderstorms that back out in Alabama was pretty much lit up in tornado warnings. Now a lot of that, as Rodney mentioned, has downgraded to severe thunderstorm warnings. So we do have an active severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Chattooga, Floyd, northern Polk County. It does look like this is extending into Calhoun as well. So this is going to continue to move in and spread into Metro Atlanta. And Rodney, if we can actually if you could put Futurecast on here, so we have an idea of what this is going to look like throughout the morning this morning. because this is going to bring heavy rain and gusty wind within the next couple of hours. Rodney did mention that timing between about 4 and 5 a.m. for the city of Atlanta. Right now, of course, we are watching far west Georgia, specifically West Georgia, where I'm trying to get an idea of if they are dropping any of these tornado warnings in the area. But nonetheless, let's take you through First Alert Futurecast really quickly. So clearly this line of storms moving in right now. And as we go through the next several hours, this might be just about an hour behind. But nonetheless, between about 4 and 5, I think is going to be the timeline for North Metro and Atlanta, south of the city along I-85 between 4 and 5. And then the severe threat quickly comes to an end by around 6, 7 o'clock. The severe threat is done, and we'll have some lingering showers for the early morning.